What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and today I'm joined by Milos Sarcev to wrap up the 2023 Chicago Pro, where Justin Shier wins his pro debut. Milos, I don't know if you watched this contest live, but you're getting to see some of it on the screen right now. But what do you think about Justin Shier winning his pro debut against the likes of John De La Rosa, who's on the left, and Stan Longeaux, who's in the middle?
Okay, first, let me make one thing straight. The only thing that I've seen is your footage and some Instagram footage and everything else like that. I didn't see the live stream. And I'm going to point out something super important that Tyler Mannion said recently, and I commend him for it. He did this video, I don't know if you've seen, instructing exactly each division, what they're looking for. It was beautiful. If he can do this after every show, I commend him for it. But punchline was, you can't judge the show from a screen, from pictures, from videos. You have to be there. So let me just put it right away on that note. Both you and I were not there. So just for what we are seeing here on the video, Justin going into the show was my favorite. I love his physique. I never seen him in person, but that God-given shape, V-taper, it's wonderful. I didn't know that John De La Rosa is coming, and then when I've seen that John is coming, I said, like, well, John is just as complete as they come, and he has a little bit more muscle, he has more thickness, he has a shape, he has better legs, he can be fuller, and so when I've seen John coming in, I thought it's going to be between John and Justin. Uh, okay, the blessing of a Adiba was always question mark which blessing is going to show up. If he showed up like in from New York last year, he would be very competitive. But I'm going to tell you this: I'm so impressed with Stanimal. I mean, I have to take a hat off to him to repeat this kind of conditioning from show to show, maintain it, and basically be always the best conditioned guy on the stage. I was, pulling for him. I was hoping that he can pull it off. And from what I've seen, he was not greatly out muscled, and he was super conditioned. I think there was, again, from the screen, what I've seen, it was better conditioned than the Justin and John. So if judges went with him, because you know how you hear conditioning, and I always say conditioning is not the everything. So on that note, I could understand the judges realize Stanimal was greatly conditioned, but he maybe still needs a little bit more mass. For me, I'm very particular, and I don't know if Stan is going to like it, but what I've seen, I think he can show the leg separation dramatically better. He's ripped to the bone. Skin is so thin. I just don't think that he knows how to tighten up the hip flexors, push the knees out, and create that separation. Another thing that I've seen for him, abs. At times, abs could be six-pack deep, glued to the spine, separated, and many times he actually doesn't show it. It's not like he has a gut or anything, far from it. He has a flat stomach. But again, for a physique like this, when you can't dominate in a size and a width and a thickness, these six little muscles in the center of the body, with all other muscles being ripped up, can make a difference. And another shot, I think the side triceps he can do much better. He improved his front lat spread dramatically, and back down biceps is crazy. I mean, whoo! So you mentioned about Justin. Justin is obviously huge potential. Everybody is looking for him to make a mark. Somebody was mentioning like, oh, he can be like instantly top 6 at Olympia. I won't go that far. He needs a couple of more years to mature and put some more size. I mean, his legs need to be bigger. His back, I mean, as wide as it is, when I see him being compared, he lost all the back shots to both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree or not, but
I do agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, okay, right now it's on the screen, so yeah, again, congratulations to Justin. I'm a huge fan. As you can imagine, I love symmetrical aesthetic physiques. I always say hashtag bodybuilding. His major hashtag. I mean, John De La Rosa is as well. So I just can't tell from the video footage. Was just in better condition than John De La Rosa. That on basis of that he beat him, because John is symmetrical, complete. He lifts his arms. There's an X-ray and V-taper. Look at it. This particular back double biceps that is on the screen. I mean, he has so much more muscle, right?
Yeah.
I didn't particularly notice any bicep tear and deformity, which is great on John De La Rosa. I'm so happy for him. Legs, here you can see it most dominant in this top 3 lineup. So, I mean, I would be interested to see judging score sheets. It might not be clear 1, 2, 3. It could be mixes. So
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear your opinion.
Yeah, so it was one of those ones where you go through the poses, and John De La Rosa was like, in a lot of the poses, I found that John was like second. He was not losing like any poses. He wasn't winning a lot of poses either. I thought he was just very complete. Like from every angle, John looks good. Like there's no poses where he gets blown away. Stan, he brought the conditioning, so there's certain shots, like both the back shots, I had Stan winning just because the conditioning head to toe was just really, really good. And then Justin, I had losing the back shots, but then some of those front shots, he was really freaky, like the front lat spread and the side chest, he looked quite good on. But I wanted to ask your opinion on this, Milos, because Justin, when he'd hit, I'll try to find the side chest. When he hit that shot, like Justin will lock out his quad and it'll be completely striated. Then he'll hit a shot where, like the side chest, where the side leg just doesn't have that crazy level of conditioning and separation like Stan. And I was just wondering, do you think that's because Justin hasn't been training for that long in terms of how many years he's been in the gym when you compare that to like a Stan or a John?
Yeah, everything depends, none of us are equally conditioned from everywhere and equally separate. Look, I don't see that maybe he's putting the weight on that leg, right? If you put the weight and then Kevin Leveroni used to do this, I'm sure you remember, when he goes down and up and then you can see those fibers, right?
Yeah.
So idea is then I don't know if he's squeezing. I'm on the phone, so the picture is super small. I'm on the computer. He needs more overall size on the legs. Yeah, I don't see too much separation going on. I don't know if he's relaxing hamstring and pushing with the quads, so to create a more thickness. Let me put it this way. He doesn't look bigger than Stanimal here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's certain parts of his physique, like the arms, where it does look bigger, but then you break down the whole thing, and then Stan has a decent structure, like he's actually taller than he's taller than both of these guys, but he's taller than people think. So when you see him by himself, people say, oh, he's like a men's physique competitor or something. I'm like, well, hold on, he used to be men's physique, and he was like, at the weight limit, so he's definitely bigger than that, obviously. But it's I do see when some people say, oh, he's not as thick as some of these guys, but he brings that level of conditioning that surpasses some of them. So it's like I understand why for the judges, like this show was probably a nightmare to judge.
Yeah, I mean, if you go pose by pose, like front double biceps, Justin has that crazy one, right? Super small waist, so I could see it. And the same goes for lat spread because of that V-taper differential. I can see him winning this. So this is how you start judging, right? So he would beat Stan in this, 2 poses. Even though Stan in Vancouver did the lat spread dramatically, something you could actually see the abs and V-taper. I mean, John De La Rosa is deadly. I mean,
yeah.
If you look at the balance, he has the lower body dramatically better, right? So there is a question mark conditioning wise, but just like this complete package, I would go with John De La Rosa.
Yeah.
Side chest also. I mean, look at this one. There's more meat over there, right?
Yeah.
More thickness, more, and that's how Hassan was beating Stanimal. And Stanimal was that once in a lifetime conditioning in Vancouver. And here he's super conditioned, but I don't think he repeated and maybe different lights, different stage, different this, different that, right? But just for him to maintain this kind of conditioning, you have to take a hat off. That's why I was hoping they're going to give it to him, really. I was cheering for him. And I would want to force John and Justin to compete in a few other shows, right? Coming up, like say, let's steer it up and have a much more good guys in the shows.
Absolutely. And especially Justin as well. Like, I think Justin, because he is still so early in his career,
Yeah.
you know, some guys will say, oh, well, I'm going to take it off to the Olympia now and focus on the Olympia. But for him, I'd be like jumping in the next show, like Tampa, and just trying to, I suppose, like perfect that package that he brings to the stage. Because I think even himself and probably even Matt Jansen probably don't know what Justin's best is. You know, like trial something different on stage. You know, coming on stage with your prep and your peaking, like, you know, either fill up more or try to pull it back more or something. You know, to see what you can bring to the stage, I think it would be beneficial for him.
Yes, until we see the high definition and good pictures, you know, we can't really gauge the conditioning, level of conditioning. It appears that he was not like superb. I mean, it appears that he could be better, especially you notice it from back shots. And then, like you said, side leg, not much thing is happening, you know, so winning the show and now, okay, I'm qualified for Olympia. I don't need to compete. And I just mentioned this on Jay Cutler's podcast. I mean, we used to all compete constantly. In any of the shows, you can find a Vince Taylor, you can find Chris Cormier and Ronnie Coleman and qualify for Olympia because back in the day, there was top 10, right? We were entering all the shows. Like, come on. I'm really deeply disturbed. What was 6 guys in Vancouver, 8 guys here, right? And I don't know what is coming up here, but you're a pro bodybuilder. And right now you're in contest condition. Wouldn't you want a challenge? Opportunity to make another, okay, 10 grand is again another story, which I think is really disturbing that 35 years we didn't change the prize money. You know, when you think about it, I don't know how it's in Australia, but when I came here to the States and my minimum wage was $3.15, right? And I got 3,000 as a third place finisher in '91, and it's just still the same. And minimum wage is like 5 times more or more than that. But here, yeah, okay, let's freeze this shot. Stanimal, you said on conditioning is getting it. Yep, but John De La Rosa has everything: width, thickness, detail, balance. Conditioning wise, on the screen, I can't tell it's much of a difference. So, you know, for me, when I claimed that Samson would beat better condition Nick Walker on the basis of completeness and fullness and balance and shape and aesthetics and everything, Sam would go here. I mean, as much as I said I would like Stanimal to get the nod and qualify, that would be such a dream come true for him. For me, if I'm a judge, I have to call it. I'm giving this post to John De La Rosa second, to Stanimal, then only third to Justin.
Yep, no, I totally agree. That was my assessment when I was live as well. Milos, I wanted to get your opinion on. I'm just going to quickly share this on the screen for you. So this was really the battle for 4th place, and I mean, Blessing coming into the show, like I heard on Fuad's podcast that, you know, he and a whole bunch of those guys had Blessing winning coming into this show. So him placing 4th in this lineup would obviously be disappointing for him, and it comes as a little bit of a shock. But Blessing has been a little bit inconsistent. You know, we saw him at Indy and New York where he came in pretty much at his all-time best, whether that was last year or the year prior, I can't quite remember. And he brought great conditioning. And then at a show like this, he just misses the mark in terms of overall conditioning. Now, he did have a lot of muscularity, like in his back double bicep in the lineup. This actually popped quite a lot and looked quite impressive overall, but the conditioning just wasn't there for it. So what does Blessing have to do? Is it just a matter of just coming in better condition or working with a coach like yourself or something?
Yeah. I mean, Jay Cutler, a few days ago, was considering that he is a front runner because of this crazy width, crazy V-taper, crazy upper body that he has, right? both knew that, okay, legs are really not up to par, but maybe other guys are not going to have such a superior leg, so you can manage it. But conditioning was not there. I said that in a Jake Cutler podcast as well, and I told Blessing when I saw him here at the GNC show a few weeks ago. Just look at him. Even on your footage, there was many moments when he let the stomach go and waist obliques came out, and then ruined the picture that he has once he has the V-tapered stretched stomach and super small waist. So it's not what you have, it's what you show. What you show is what judge is going to judge you for. And he doesn't have that commodity. I mean, if you look at your footage, you'll see what I'm talking about. But here, it doesn't get better than that. Look at this V-taper. Look at his back. I mean, as good as it gets. Condition is not there. I think he should tighten up. He should go to all these other shows. I mean, job is not done, but it's almost there. I'm sure the few weeks of dieting, can dial him in. And then, I mean, a lot of people, Fuad, and other people, say, oh, you can be harsh. I don't sugarcoat it. It's so easy. Listen, everybody can give kisses, praises. Great. Listen, I already consider that you're great. You're the top pro bodybuilder. I mean, look at this. I love both physiques. I love Patrick Moore's physique as well. For me, like I said, always #bodybuilding. This is it. Both of those guys, I wish they would come here for a camp so I can train them legs, because I do believe the legs is not about super hard work and effort. It's about super stimulation. There's a big difference. Go hard, go heavy, go home, all this stuff. No, I don't want you to exert yourself completely, but I want your muscle to have such a load that that this is the only thing working. And both of those guys are kind of like, oh, I'm a fan. I would like to see if I can make a difference. But so what can Blessing do? Control his upper body. That waist is like this, like on this picture. V-taper is phenomenal, right? Front relax, front double biceps. Waist is disappearing. Same for Patrick. Beautiful. Patrick doesn't lose the stomach, but Blessing does. And as much, if you maybe not like it, if he watches the footage, and he's going to realize. By the way, I'm watching my footage from like 93, and I had a small waist. I had deep abs. And at the time, I didn't pay attention much. And then I see like, oh my God, I could have done so much better. I didn't glue my stomach to the spine. Look, what am I doing? But this is kind of thing when you don't think you have an issue, right? And obviously, Blessing knows when he opens up the lats and that V-taper go crazy. Deep abs, like even you can see abs right now in this pose. But watch him when he drops the arms and shortens his stomach and obliques come out. He doesn't have that commodity, right? Then he ruins that V-taper and shape.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things I did notice, like in this lineup when Patrick Moore first came out, I don't have the screenshot of it up on the screen right now, but when he first came out and hit his front relaxed, his V-taper looked better than ever. I don't know if he added a little bit more muscle in certain areas or what, but his X-frame was crazy. And I was like, is Patrick Moore on? And then I noticed his conditioning wasn't on, and I was like, damn, because that could have been a physique. Like if he had Stanimal's conditioning, he wins this show. That's just like how good his structure actually is. And you sort of realize that when he's standing in the lineup in a show like this rather than like an Arnold Classic or something. So he's just got a crazy impressive structure, and same as Blessing as well. And like you said, it's one of those things like the midsection, when you're posing in the mirror, like a lot of these guys, do physique checks in the mirror, they're hitting it most muscular and they're looking at their delts, their arms, their chest. They're probably not paying as much attention to the midsection when they're hitting those poses in the mirror. And I've been victim of that, and I've seen friends do it as well. And even clients, when I used to teach posing, I'd say, "What's your stomach?" And they're like, "Oh, I wasn't even looking at it." And I'm like, "Well, that's where you got to look straight away, because if you let that go, that's what the judges see."
Yeah. Most important muscle, pretty much. I'm serious. And I'm going to say it, even though they're going to hit me again, they don't practice posing enough. I swear to God, it's still not there. I mean, they bright, rush it and close to the contest. I'm just going to do. If you do this day in, day out, I mean, for us back in the Coliseum gym, it was mandatory. After the kick-ass workout, you pose another 15, 20 minutes every workout. And then you take a time just for posing sessions separately. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Justin Shier, he said he was actually practicing posing for about 45 minutes after his workouts while he was prepping. And he's got the tightest waist of anyone. His waist is tiny. So goes to show that, he said he was doing something along the lines of, like 45 minutes post workout, and he would set a timer and it'd have a thing where it would just beep every, I think, 15 seconds. And that's when he'd go into his next pose, and then just hold it 15 seconds, beep, and he just keep doing that continuously. So it definitely seemed to help him.
Who do you see winning this pose?
I have Justin.
On this picture.
Followed this picture. I have Justin just because that he's just got such a freaky proportion, and his legs are nice and rounded as well. I mean, the condition, he doesn't look super conditioned in this shot, exactly, but his proportions are just so crazy. Then I'd probably have John and then probably Stan in that order.
I would think going into the show, seeing his front double biceps, some crazy shots. I thought that would be my favorite front double biceps. But here, if I'm a judge, I'm giving to John.
John looks very
based
good
on
too.
this picture. He is just more balanced, more complete, legs way more powerful. Still the same V taper. It would be close. But just like in UFC, for example, you have a 10-point mass system. You have to give it to somebody. And I think you said that also. You're watching them turn around, and then now you're changing who do you think is winning. And,
yeah.
And I'm telling you, it happened to me, like in this Texas show with Steve Kukla, Phil Kahar, and Jan Valier. They did it 3 times, like front double biceps, and 3 times they have a different winner, all 3.
Yeah.
But here, just again, I don't know conditioning exactly, separation on and thickness on John's legs, and he still has that crazy X-frame and V taper just like Justin. It looks like John has more muscle,
Yeah, he's just got more overall thickness and completeness. I don't know. I think John is actually, from memory, when I screenshot this, I think he's a little bit closer on stage, like a quarter of a step further forward. That like little out angling thing a little bit. But I mean, it works.
If he pull it off, oh well, So judges should call it, and competitors should not let it happen. I tell all my guys, do not let me see anybody in front of you, right? So if they make it obvious, you're gonna make it just as obvious, and then judges gonna call you back. But just don't allow it, because it makes huge difference. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people look here in pictures of my Instagram and they say, you were out angling. Oops. Yeah. Okay. I get away with it. So.
Milos, I love it when you say, too bad, so sad, too bad. I love that when you say it on Jay's podcast. You're like, well, too bad, so sad, or whatever it is. I mean, I always go to say it, but I always forget. Have you actually heard my Milos impersonation?
No, but I would love to.
I do it all the time, and I actually get people like that will do what we call super chats on YouTube, and they will give me $2 and like do a Milos impersonation. They always do it. So yeah. I say, I mean, these guys coming out of condition far too much. I mean, if they're coming on stage, I mean, just 5%, a little bit better. I mean, using my correct hyperemia protocols, I mean, I think that'd be fantastic, and
Chris Aceto does it, and Mauro Sassi, Italian. Mauro does the best, right? But then I have a lot of people say, "Oh man, this is insulting. Shame on them." I say, "Yeah, it's fun. What do you mean? I never get insulted. You can never insult me with anything. I'm just
exactly. It's all in good fun.
Listen, because you said, what about that squeaky voice? I was on the phone talking to somebody, right, and the other person says, "No, ma'am." Not ma'am. Hey, You know how they say like steroids should deepen your voice? I guess I just didn't do them enough.
Yeah, well, the first time I ever did a podcast on, because I used to do the RX Muscle Australia, the first time I ever did a podcast on there, and a lot of people hadn't heard my voice before. A guy said, "Oh, great podcast." He said, "Oh, do you have like a blocked nose? Are you sick?" And I was like, "No, that's just my voice." And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." And I'm
Listen,
like,
yeah.
"Now I know I sound weird." But no, it's all good fun, and it's quite funny, Mills. Like I find like being an Australian. Australians
Mhm.
don't get offended as much as like Americans and certain other national, like, especially Americans, like for whatever reason. So I'll say stuff and I'll do impersonations of people, and then people actually end up getting offended, and I'm always shocked because if you do that to another Australian, we're just like, yeah, who
Well,
cares?
it's not just, put it this way. If you're a confident person, you do not get offended. Let them
Yeah.
talk, let them joke. You
Mm.
know, if it's funny, I'll laugh, but I would not be offended. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But anyway, Milos, I don't want to keep you too long. I
All
don't know
right.
what happened to my friend Aaron, but I just wanted to basically say thank you for jumping on. It's been awesome. It's been a long time since we've actually chatted on a podcast, so it's been cool to get you on and talk bodybuilding because I always enjoy. I listen to every podcast you do. I listen to the AMA podcast. I listen to Olympia TV when you're on there. I listen to Dennis James's show, Jay Cutler's show, all the shows you're on. So
Thank you.
absolutely love
Yeah,
it.
thank you. I just love the sport, so I mean, you called me and I told you, okay, I'll call you in 2 minutes. And I actually had, it's 4:30. I had a lunch served downstairs like probably 40 minutes ago. So I'm going to go now and have a lunch.
We'll
Okay.
enjoy it. Sorry for holding
All
you up
right.
from it. But anyway, that's it for myself, Xavier Wills, and Milos Sarcev. That's it for our post-show wrap-up of the 2023 Chicago Pro, where Justin Shier gets a victory. So for myself, Xavier Wills, and Milos Sarcev, we are out.